Today's talk is called, How Did You Do It? How did you do it? Today's an anniversary for me. A long-term anniversary for me of a healing process. And it fell on today, so I thought I'd do a talk about it. And I'm thinking, how did you do it? And I thought, well, one day at a time. But really it was one thought at a time. How I do everything. One thought at a time. And then I go to the next thought. And then I go to the next thought. Then I got sidetracked by these 6 other thoughts. And then I go to the next thought. And then some sidetracking again. And then I go to the next thought. And I really had to look at that. Well, what was it that made it different for me? That, well, I wanted it for one thing. It was that or die. That's where I was. I was at a point, it was just that or give up on life, on the physical life. And I wanted to give life one more chance. And so I did. And I went with these people. Man, I went, sat with these people in a room. I'd sat with these people in a room before. I walked away from them because I didn't want to be with them anymore. Now here I was, and I had to be with them. I sat in the back, resentment row, they call it. I'm not casting aspersions here. The back row was a lot further away than the front in the room I was in. And it's funny. Now, I had been with these people a few years before that. And then I decided to go off on my own, self-reliant. And I forgot my misery many times for about 3 years. That's what I did. I kept forgetting my misery of why I had sought healing in the first place. Do you understand? About forgetting your misery. Forgetting your misery is what you think you can handle it on your own. Whatever that is. Oh, I'm okay now. It's like, okay, God, I got it from here. Thank you. And it's I'll tell you many of you have heard this joke. I like this joke. It's about a man who's he needs money so much. His family's just in a horrible way, and he has no cash. And he sits down to pray because he went to a Unity church once, and somebody said pray, and he said okay. So he sits down, he closes his eyes, but he begs. And he says, God, can I have a bag of gold, please? My wife's not well. The kids need to be clothed, so it's almost time to go back to school. We've got bills, electric bill, phone bill, man, how am I going to pay the mortgage? So if I could just have one bag of gold, okay, God, then everything will be fine. Thank you. And he opens his eyes, and there's nothing there. So he sits down again and says, God, I did tell you my wife's not well, right? And I could use something nice for myself, and the car's got to be fixed, and I told you about the kids. And all the bills. Okay, so a bag of gold, just one bag of gold, and we'll be set. Thank you. And he opens his eyes. There's nothing there. He says, okay, 3rd time's the charm. God, I need a bag of gold. I don't have any money. And I need to take care of my family. I need stuff. I need to pay the bills. I need it all. I need this all for my confidence, okay? So God, just one bag of gold and everything will be fine. And he opens his eyes and there is a bag of gold. And he looks up and says, never mind, God, I got it. Yeah, self-reliant. Come in. That's forgetting our misery. When we forget the source of our good. And so for 3.5 years, I forgot my misery several times. I thought, oh, I can do this on my own. And then I couldn't. And then in 1993, woke up one day, and I went for 10 days self-reliant. And I thought, oh, my goodness, those damn people. And then on day 11, I woke up. And I was standing in the same spot I was at day 10. And I heard a voice that said, you have to go see those people, Shawn, because you're not going to make it through today if you don't. So I put a baseball hat on, because I had a lot of hair then, and I wanted to cover it. And I went, and I sat in the back row. And interestingly enough, I have this invisible toolkit. And it's got all these drawers in it. And one of those drawers says, sit in the front row where you'll hear better. And And I said, oh, well, thank you, but I'm not staying very long. And I closed the door, and I sat in the back row. And I sat in the back row for a few days, and then somehow on day 16, I raised my hand and introduced myself. And I left, and I let them know I was back, so they didn't have to tell me anything. I knew how this worked. And but day 17, I was back in the front row. And I remember a man looked at me, a man in the front of the room, and he was saying, you know, we've got several meetings here each day at this time. We've got one at a big speaker meeting here, and and he looked right at me and said, there's a beginners group over in the kitchen there. And then there's a step meeting down the hall. And I went to the step meeting the next day, and that's where I stayed, because I wanted a solution. I didn't want to be a beginner, I wanted a solution. Because I wanted my picture up on the wall with the founders of the fellowship. And I thought, if I hurry up and do this, I'll get up there. And what's nice, though, is I worked my brains out till finally I didn't need to have my picture up on the wall. You know, so there's not a photograph of me on the wall here with Myrtle Charles Fillmore. For those of you who don't know, Myrtle Charles Fillmore are the pioneers of the Unity program, or the Unity program, the Unity movement. But I kept looking into, and what I did was I listened to people who had great lives. I listened to people who had been healing for a while. And I was shocked at some of these people's stories. Because I would see people in business suits, I would see people who were freshly married and happy, and then I'd hear their stories. That their stories were far worse than what I considered mine to be. And yet here they were, they made money, they had respectable careers, they had relationships, they had friends, they no longer smoked even. And it's like, holy smokes, what do you mean? No pun intended. Holy cow. But I listened to them, and I worked so hard, and I got happier. And I found a way to live life. And then somebody said to me, a few months into it, they said, Shawn, because I think I was complaining about something or other, as somebody new to this is prone to do. And they said, Shawn, here's the deal. If you stay on this healing track and you don't take anything to subdue it, and you follow every principle, here's the thing. Life's still going to happen, but you'll never have to hurt yourself again. Oh, what a promise. That I would never have to hurt myself again. Because sometimes we think we have to hurt ourselves. And define, oh, I don't have to. And so I kept showing up. And here's what I wanted. Each day I wanted to find out, what's it going to be like to be me today in this healing process. You know, and I got 5 days, now I got 10 days, now I got 20, now I got 30, now I got 50. Now I remember on my 19th day, it was a summertime, and it was a Saturday night, and I went to see this group, and somebody said they had 58 days, and I thought, I'll never make it. My head is going to explode before I get it. I didn't think I would go use the substance, but I really thought I will implode before I get to 58 days, but I didn't. And but you know, and then year and a half into it, I thought, okay, I'm praying here, and I began to pray with a lot of gratitude. Around 30 days, somebody said, "Why don't you pray on your knees, Shawn?" Pray on my knees. I thought that religious people did that. Oh no, healthy people do that. People who want a closer connection with God do that. And so I wanted to find out more about this God that other people seem to like. Because I couldn't afford the Santa Claus God anymore. You know, the one that was, I'm going to be kind to, that was looking for me to be bad. That's the Santa Claus and the God that my parents gave me, my family gave me. It was one to be afraid of rather than one that loves me. And I didn't like that one anymore, so I had to get a new God. I had to get a whole new God and one that loved me. And I knew in my heart there was one. And so I got down on my knees. My life changed overnight. Holy smokes, my life was different. I knew things I didn't know before, and I wasn't more religious. Believe me, I was not more religious. But I got down on my knees. And what I said was this prayer I put into your bulletins today. And I would say it several times a day. And that prayer says, God, I offer myself to thee, to build with me, and to do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me of the bondage of self, that I may better do thy will. take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help, of thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. And I didn't have a clue what that prayer meant. I didn't have any idea, but I knew God did, so I'm going to keep saying it. And as I daily prayed that prayer, I began to understand it. Now, I didn't know about happy, joyous, and free, the parts I've added to the prayer there in parentheses. But what I saw was, relieve me of the bondage of self. I didn't quite get that, but to take away my difficulties meant my rent would be paid. That's what I knew. If I stuck with this, my rent will be paid. And that gave me comfort. My rent, I had never been late on my rent, of all things. I never, ever was I late on my rent, but every month I still worried. Maybe I will be. And so, then I was at a gathering at midnight, where I used to go every night, and this woman, this very erratic woman, would come in. Her name was Grace, of all things, would come in, and she would rant about her day. Just rant about how awful her day had been at work that night. She was a waitress. How awful, but she would always end it with, but I know God's will for me is to be happy, joyous, and free, so I'm just going to keep coming back. She gave me the greatest blessing. I didn't know God's will for me was to be happy, joyous, and free. I knew about good, orderly direction, which I've added to this prayer today, but I didn't know about God's will for me was to be happy, joyous, and free. I could get on board with that. How about you? Yeah. Can you get on board with the thought that there is some sort of invisible presence? It doesn't think about you. It's not worried about you. But it is fully willing that you be happy, joyous, and free. And it won't punish you if you're not. It won't be mad at you if you're not happy, joyous, and free. It doesn't mean gleeful all the time. It doesn't mean glassy-eyed and I'm happy. It doesn't mean that at all. And there's no cause for guilt if you don't feel happy. But there is a divine will that we be happy, joyous, and free. So when I started to look at that prayer, God, I offer myself to thee, to build with me and do with me as thou wilt, to make me happy, joyous, and free. And then relieve me of the bondage of self. And then I began to discover, oh, the bondage of self is my thinking somebody wants to hurt me. Or that I want to hurt another, that, in genuine, that I would genuinely want to hurt another being. I never want to hurt another being. Sometimes I forget and I lash out, but I don't ever want to hurt someone else. And so I'm very clear no one ever wants to hurt me. Never, even through my childhood. Nobody's intention was to hurt me. If they tried, they weren't aware I was there. Very clear in that. So relieve me of the bondage of self so I could let that go, that I'm walking through a world that wants to hurt me. And then take away my difficulties. Again, rent would be paid. But even more, my difficulties of my thinking that were separate. And if they take away my difficulties, why? That I may better do thy will. That I may better be happy, joyous, and free. And then the best part is, victory over them may bear witness to those I would help. So here's the deal. My having a great life would be service to the community. My having a better life, an improved life, could help everybody. Could be a channel of like, how did you do this, Shawn? Well, I did this, and most of all, I prayed differently. I don't want to pray, you get this. Well, I'm just telling you what I did. I'm just telling you what I did. And it made my life better. Because you've heard my story, my childhood and stuff. I was not voted most likely to be a minister in high school. And so I wasn't voted most likely to be happy in high school. Not even by my family. And then finally, may I do thy will always. May I always be happy, joyous, and free. But you see, I had to boil that God part down to good, orderly direction. Because if I was waiting for a person, an adult person, to get around to me, because of my past, because of the adults in my history, they had their own stuff going on. So those people, if God were a person, God might not get around to me in my time. But good, orderly direction is my foot in front of each other, doing what I hear, saying what ought to be said by me, and doing what ought to be done by me, and walking in the direction I'm supposed to go, because I know better. I know the difference, and I know each one of you here knows the difference between what's right for you and what isn't right for you. What everyone here knows the path to joy. Every single person here knows the path to joy. I know the path to joy. Would you say it with me? I know the path to joy. Say it with me. I know the path to joy. One more time. I know the path to joy. Now here's the deal. There's a compromise. You're going to have to give up your misery. It's going to cost you your lack. It's going to cost you your victim. It's going to cost you all sorts of hell that doesn't exist. Hell is not a place we go to when we die. It's a place we go to in our thinking. And we don't have to go there. It's not required. But it's going to cost you. It'll cost you your misery. And for some of us, that's too big a price to pay. But you see, it's not God holding out on us. There's no divine presence that is holding out my joy. It's me. And I'm not bad for that. I just haven't yet crept into the willingness to say, I'd rather have this than this. And I've taken a lot of actions over the years. I told you when I returned all the library books that I stole as a child. But I was willing to, because having those books that I liked a lot on my shelf, be a reminder that I was a thief wasn't good enough for me. So here we go, Washington, Pennsylvania. I'd like to give you these. I stole them 20 years ago. I don't have no idea how much money to give you. It's just leave them here and we will say thank you. People are kind. Overall, people are kind. But what's important is, am I kind? Am I generous? Am I willing that you all be free? And am I willing that all of them be free? I mean, all of them. All of them, oh my goodness. That's a lot of them. Or is it just one that represents all of them? Is it one in the news? Is it one who's on television? Is it one in the movies? Is it one in Washington, D.C.? Is it one in another country in leadership? Is it one, is it one in your own house? Is it you? Are you the one you hate the most? Are you the one you fear the most? Are you the one? I didn't want to be the one I hated the most anymore. And so I did things. And I showed up with fellowship. And here's the deal, and this same works for church, in my opinion. You show up for the opening prayer, and you stay till the closing one, because you don't know which part of the service is for you. And it's the same with these other kind of meetings. You show up for the preamble, and you stay for the final prayer, because you don't know which part is for you, and you don't know which part you'll be able to help another. And 2 times to go. 2 times to, that I learned to go to these fellowship places or to church. 2 times. And only 2 times. When you want to and when you don't want to. Those are the 2 times. Other than that, you're home free. Don't bother. 2 times to show up for your spiritual life. When you want to and when you don't want to. 2 times to show up for you. When you want to, when you don't want to. 2 times. Isn't that a relief? It's not all the time, it's just these 2 times. I want to read something to you. So the Holy Spirit's interpretation of the New Testament, my favorite book, the new book. First reading is from Matthew, chapter 21, and it says, "What seems impossible to you is not impossible. In fact, it is all that is truly possible For the belief in separation cannot hold you prisoner, because it is not true. It is not real. It is nothing but a figment of your imagination in which you have placed your faith. Through this, you can see the power of your faith. But I ask you to remove your faith from what you believe now and place your faith in me, that you may see through different eyes. Surely you will see differently. And then back here in Hebrews, chapter 11, starts with verse 32. By faith, you bring all that is brought to you, and so by faith you may learn that none of it is true. As you learn this lesson, you shall giggle in acceptance. Holy Spirit, say giggle. You shall giggle in acceptance and release it all in joy. For in the remembrance of truth, you shall no longer desire a distraction that hides the truth of what you are. The mind is one. The desire of the heart is only one. The Spirit of God is one, and this is your holy truth. Accept in willingness all that you do know, and by faith that which has never been true shall fully and joyously be let go. So, because I leave my house, and I've left my house for many days now, to be with like-minded individuals. Many days, many years, many thoughts. There's been a change in me. And the change is my faith. I have faith that there is more than me alone. And I have faith that if I fail at something, I can try again. If I fall short of the ideal, I can try again. Those people, those wise people I met, told me many years ago that I can start each day over at any time during the day so that the change can keep happening. Thank you for what you do for me.